I know
day.
Well, it also changes, but I know
right. It does fluctuate. I know that it's relatively stable because you can continually, because it's infinitely recyclable, and because there's always seems to be a demand for it, for new aluminum products, and especially soda cans. But again, these things fluctuate in the same way that gold, gold's been pretty steady, but in the same way that other commodities are going to rise and fall. A lot of people think that recycling is this big money game. It actually is kind of a break-even game, because of, after the recession, there were companies like this one that were literally just could not get rid of their bales. They had to, get warehouses to fill because nobody was buying.
I've heard that.
We have good years, we have bad years. At the end of the day, we're really just kind of staying above water kind of thing. Hey, this is the fun part of my job. I mean, anyway, so we've gotten, so far what have we gotten out of the stream, you guys? We've gotten a lot of the big items, right? The big items we think recyclable. We've gotten the paper out, right? Those fibers we got out. We got out the steel, right? With the magnet, we got out two types of plastic, the two most popular, 1s and 2s, PET, HDPE, both kinds. We've gotten out cartons, and now we've gotten out aluminum. So let's talk about what's left. Somebody asked me about the other plastic numbers. Those are those 3 through 7s. And those are actually going to be picked out by hand sorters. Again, we do employ 50 people here, so a lot of these people are actually going to be doing this manually. And these ladies are actually not only picking out the 3 through 7s, which are going to be your other plastics like your yogurt containers, your clear to-go containers, your clamshells, not styrofoam, obviously. And if you guys want to talk about styrofoam, I can talk about styrofoam if you're interested to know the problems with styrofoam. Also kids' toys, and also we also accept bulk plastics too. They're a 3 through 7 as well. Huge, large things like if you guys ever have little friends when you were younger and they had those little playhouses that are made of plastic, you can take those, big buckets from Lowe's. Even your recycling cart can be recycled, that type of plastic, and we do accept.
You do accept?
Yeah. Well, I think for the legally folk, hearing about the problems with styrofoam
would be a good idea.
Yes.
Okay. I actually like telling people the problem with styrofoam because it's usually not what they think it is, sometimes it's a letdown. But unfortunately, the problem with styrofoam has nothing to do with, well, it has a little bit to do with the environment, but really it has to do with dollars and cents and making money. Styrofoam is not profitable to recycle, and that's because if we were to bale it, styrofoam cups or plates or anything like that, if we were to squash that all down into a bale and then put that bale on the back of a truck, just like common practice, put that bale on the back of a truck or a few bales on the back of a truck, then we would have to fill that truck with diesel and drive that truck to whatever processing plant. Maybe it's across the country, we don't even know where it is, By the way, side note, there are some technologies coming out in the babiest of baby stages in parts of Europe, and I've heard in parts of California, that are talking about new ways to recycle styrofoam, polystyrene by melting it, but we're not there yet, so keep going with me on this little road.
Not there yet.
We're not quite there yet. Keep an eye out in the next 5 to 10 years. So anyway, so here we have these bales and best intentioned bales of styrofoam, and they get to the styrofoam processing place, and they weigh the bales, and they go, oh my God, there's only 5 cents worth of styrofoam in this bale. And we just spent how many dollars and how much emissions in the environment to travel to get this 10 cents or 3 cents of styrofoam. It doesn't break even because the density, because it's been pumped full of air, and that's why melting it is really the only answer to it. There are a lot of people who are just really pushing for that melting process because styrofoam is actually expanded polystyrene. Polystyrene is the stuff that it makes your plastic knives and forks. That material, that plastic material, they puff that full of air, and then they call it expanded polystyrene. It's full of air, which makes it really versatile and useful, but extremely.
An insulator.
Yeah, it's an insulator, sure, and yeah, it's a perfect product, but you cannot recycle it, so it's very, very imperfect. I am really of the camp that if we just stop buying styrofoam, manufacturers will get the hint and stop producing it, but sometimes